Jason Kidd needs to make changes. Changes. We'll tell you what they are today. It's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
Dog, on 5.
Explain yourself.
All these changes, I still got my dog Dwight Powell.
You are Locked On Mavs. Great, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being in every day, or making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. Making Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network out there. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If you win, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the chain mail man. The one more thinking, what you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I played somebody in our in one of my fantasy leagues this past week who was 0-8. All right, fantasy football, and so I played him. I was like, oh, dude, you just can't. I can't be the guy now that loses to him to give him his first win of the season.
Don't be them.
And we thought we were going to have this situation with the Pelicans coming up on Wednesday of like, you can't be that guy. Like, you can't be that team. But we're safe from it.
Thank you to the Hornets for losing to the Pelicans. The Pelicans are now 1-6 instead of coming into to Wednesday's
Either
game,
way,
0-7.
Dallas has to win this game.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to beat the Pelicans.
Must win for the Mavs.
Some would say define the season.
I would say if they do lose that game, it would define the season, especially early in the season. Today's episode, though, we're going to talk about changes that Jason Kidd has to make and decisions he has to make for this team. So we'll talk about, obviously, we'll talk about D'Angelo Russell. I want to talk about Klay Thompson and the decision he needs to make. And then let's just start with the Mavs offense, Isaac, because the Mavs offense is terrible. Like, just absolutely terrible. Whatever they're trying to do, whatever this Princeton offense, this new, motion off, whatever they're trying to run, it's not working at all. No matter who's on the court, it sounded like he fell down. And that's what the Mavs offense sounds like sometimes when they go down the court. Just like they might as well just fall down. Was that a drop, or did you just say that?
I said I'm sorry.
Okay. The Mavs are 30th in the NBA in offense. 30th. Last. There's 30 teams in the NBA. Go through some of their games, and you just go by offensive rating. The Mavs have had one good offensive game. Literally one good one. They had 126.9 offensive rating against the Raptors. That's in the 84th percentile. That's great. Like that was a really good offensive game. A lot of it came in transition, all that. They've had one bad offensive game against Detroit. 110 was their offensive rating. That's the 34th percentile. That's bad, but it's also their second best offensive game they've had this season. They've had 5 awful games between a 94 offensive rating and 102 offensive rating. That is impossible to hard to do in the NBA right now. That is between the 3rd and the 8th percentile. Like, that is the lowest of the low. That is like, they just, might as well have not tried. And you could have just stumbled. Like, teams could just stumble into games better than that. 5 awful games so far out of 7 where they're just not even creating anything close to offense. The Mavs need to make some kind of offensive change, Isaac. They have to make it. And it seems very obvious to us. And I don't understand why this change seems so obvious to us and it hasn't been made yet.
Yeah, so I think Miles Kelly would be the move. And
honestly, they need shooting. They need shooting and unconscious shooting. And he'll bring that.
They do need shooting. I have one more thing coming out later on today on some offensive stats. So I'm not going to give all of them right now. But one of my favorites is they're 28th in the league in field goal attempts per game. One of our biggest things,
just not even taking shots.
Well, but this is like one of our things is like we have talked about how they haven't been able to generate good looks, and it's not even generating good looks. They're just having a hard time generate looks. like they're 28th in the league in that, just 85 a game, and this type of offense is supposed to be fast. They are high in pace. I think they're top 5 in pace, but that just tells you something that you're a pretty high paced team, but you can't generate shots. And it would be a little bit different if you couldn't generate shots and you're shooting like high percentages and really efficient. You're not really doing any of that. So to your point, just nothing is working on offense outside of just a few players that like a Max Christie or, PJ's percentages went down a little bit, but like I'd say Max is probably having, like, if you're just talking about single players, the best like single player season so far for Dallas. PJ is having a pretty good season so far, but yeah, it's tough. And I think that decision for Kidd is what we keep on going back to is, are you going to commit at some point to playing a point guard? Are you going to not just, and for me, I take it a step further. Are you going to commit to playing a point guard at all times? So whether you're splitting minutes between D'Lo and Brandon Williams, like you have a point guard on the floor at all times, try it. Heck, I mean, try it out
Bring
there.
out Nemhard. Let's do it.
And it's just like there's never a moment, and you at least have one guy out there that you know can initiate the offense and all that. So I think that's a decision he's got to make at some point, and I just don't know when that. Yeah, what's it going to take to try something new on offense?
My brain is still broken from when you just said the Mavs are 4th in pace and 27th in field goal attempts.
28th. Get that number right.
I just looked, and maybe it updated since the game just ended. But like that is mind blowing to me. Like that just shows they're just not even generating shot attempts at all. If you're 4th in pace, you should be like 4th in field goal attempts because you're taking more because you have more possessions in each game. That makes no sense to me. And to me, I think it's you went into this season. And Nico Harrison decided not to make any major move to go get some kind of guard, right? They bring back Dante Exum. You sign Brandon Williams to this deal. You get Ryan Nemhard off of free agency after the draft, and then you sign D'Angelo Russell. That was your answer. And honestly, it felt like the people forget about Frank, right? It felt exactly like that when we were asking about that the people forget about Frank thing came from Media Day a couple years ago, where the Mavs didn't really have a backup point guard. And we were like, all right, what are the Mavs going to do with backup point guard with Brunson gone? And he was like, well, people forget about Frank. And I was like, okay, just seems like you're adding it aside. And Frank has now become like the butt of this joke. Sorry, Frank Ntilikina.
I would take Frank at this point.
Honestly, I would too. But it became such an infamous statement because it was more like, well, we have the answer. The answer's on the roster. We've got these guys. We feel good about these guys. And the Mavs did the same thing this year. Well, D'Angelo Russell, he's going to come in and he's going to do a lot for us. We feel good about what Brandon Williams did at the end of last year. We like Ryan Nemhard. Okay, well, now you're in bed with that decision. And now you've got to lean into it. And this thing with no point guards or the quote-unquote flag at point guard that has not really even like happened really at this point. You have to now – you're in bed with the decision to have these point guards. And for
you're thinking about in bed a lot.
For it to only be D'Angelo Russell, I'm tired. I guess maybe I just want to go to sleep. After watching a bunch of Mavs offensive possessions and after looking at a bunch of Mavs offensive stats today, prepping for the show, I do want to go to bed. I'm done. Made me tired. Made me sleepy. But you've got to play a point guard, and you have the ones on the roster that you have, and you have to play them because it's not working without one.
The eye test and the numbers tell you to do it. So it's like the eye test tells you can watch these games and you're like, all right, well, they're generating a little bit better offense whenever D'Lo's out there or point guard's out there. You want to look at some of the numbers too. D'Lo has the highest plus minus on the team right now in plus 31. I had the total minutes in front of me. He's played 161 minutes on the season. He's a plus 31. If you want to look at top lineup combinations for Dallas right now, the top 3-man lineup combination that has a positive plus rating has played the most minutes is D'Angelo Russell, Max Christie, and PJ Washington. You go down a little bit further than that, and a pretty big outlier, and because a lot of those are negative plus minuses, but that positive one sticks out. And then this one a little bit further down is D'Lo, Naji, and Max Christie. They're at plus 17. So you can go and look at a bunch of different combinations, whether it's 2-man, 3-man, 4-man, and you're going to see a common denominator right now, and that's D'Angelo Russell. And it just, so there's numbers that show you that you're better with him on the floor. The eye test shows you that you're better with him on the floor. And also your overall offense is horrible right now, just absolutely horrible. So I don't know what else you got to do to say you got to switch up some things.
And I agree that some things have been because of injury. Anthony Davis obviously missed games. Lively's missing some more games. Obviously, Kyrie is not playing. Like they've had injuries where you're like, all right, well, these guys just aren't available. Flagg has had the shoulder thing in game here and there. But it is not only injuries. You have this answer in front of you, and Jason Kidd needs to make the choice. He's got to play D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if this is a player that he didn't pick himself, or like, he seems like he's leaned into it recently because he's kind of had to with even more injuries to the Mavericks. But you've got to start him. You've got to play him more. Coming up, we've got even more numbers, and I've got even more reasons why the Mavs need to play D'Angelo Russell, and something Jason Kidd needs to change with the way he's approaching this season. We'll talk about that and more. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. Go check it out and see what is available for you. They've got all kinds of odds for Mavericks games or for any other NBA thing if you want to go check that out. So go see what you have available in your area at your time, because by the time you're listening to this, it's probably completely different because they always change all the time. If I'm looking at Mavs Pelicans, we just talked about how the Pelicans finally won a game. Mavs 7-point favorites. They were 13-point underdogs against the Rockets. So that is a big swing from one game to the next for the Mavericks. 7-point favorites against the Pelicans. If you feel real confident, like, hey, the Mavs have to win this one, it's a must-win game, and you think they're going to, put $5 if you're a new customer, and if you win, you get $300 in bonus bets, plus whatever you win off that. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. We're also brought to you by Rugiet. We're talking about the Mavs offense, and there's just enough excuses to go around, but you shouldn't have excuses for yourself. Excuses like what, Isaac?
I'm not allowed to talk.
Excuses like I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. When it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and actually step up to the plate and say something. Start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, no hanging out in the background while I do this ad. Visit Rugiet.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. Get 15% off your first order. How do you spell it, Isaac?
HANGI.
RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. Locked on NBA, so they know that we sent you. Rugiet. Stop making excuses. Start making those moves.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. The Raccoon Squad's not making any excuses.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're spelling out words. They're doing everything right now.
They're just yelling.
They're doing all of it. We're talking about the Mavs offense and decisions Jason Kidd needs to make. He's got to play D'Angelo Russell more because you're in bed with the decision you've made at point guard. And now you've got to make the move. You can't make any excuses. You can't just say, well, we don't have a point guard right now. We're thin at point guard. All right, well, you have some on the roster. Now you have to play them because you've tried the thing with the no point guard. It's not working.
Real quick. We're just going to take a side path real quick. Veer off path. The comment from Jason Kidd about why Cooper didn't get the ball much.
Yes. Yeah.
Post Houston
yesterday.
Just incredible. Just an incredible quote of.
Do you have it in front of you?
No, but the answer is like, hey, PJ had it going.
Jason Kidd was asked, Cooper Flagg, he wasn't really involved in the second half. How can you, what happened with Cooper Flagg not being as involved? And he said, for Cooper, I think the ball was finding PJ. He took full advantage of the situation. I thought Cooper played a great game on both ends.
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
Cooper played a great game on both ends. Down the stretch, he made the right plays. Unfortunately, PJ's going and D'Lo has the ball. You trust that he's going to make the right plays.
I just think it's a bad excuse to say, like, it's not like PJ shot the ball every single time down the floor.
Took 20 shots out of like the 89.
Yeah, so I just thought it was kind of like a cop out of being like of why you didn't get Cooper involved in the second half. And hey, well, another guy was playing well. What? That's not.
Well, he also said one guy was playing well and the other guy had the ball too. He didn't like say D'Angelo Russell also had a good game. He just said that he also had the ball. And like that makes me so frustrated because it's like, well, is the only way for Cooper Flagg to have the ball? Is that the only way to get him involved? I guess, sort of. Like,
this offense, you never know.
it's just frustrating to me. The Mavs starters. So basically, I looked at some of these numbers on how to look at. All right, well, D'Angelo Russell's impact and how different it is. Cooper Flagg with Klay Thompson on the floor, which has like kind of been that starting unit, minus 28.5 net rating. So they're getting outscored by 28.5 points per 100 possessions, which is just an efficiency stat on scoring and defending. 87 offensive rating. 87 with those two guys on the court together, which is basically the starting lineup because that's the only time those guys really play together. That's like the 0th percentile, Isaac. 0th doesn't exist, but it's 0.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, all of Klay's plus minus right now are pretty tough.
Well, because Klay only plays in that starting lineup. We'll talk about Klay a little bit later. He only kind of plays in that starting lineup to begin the game, then third quarters and a little bit in the fourth quarter. D'Angelo Russell and Flagg on the court together. It's still not great. It's a -7 net rating, but the offense is 110. So it goes from 87 to 110. That offensive rating is still bad, but at least it's like, okay, we can work with that from there. Cooper Flagg with D'Angelo Russell off the court in general is a -20 net rating. So you go from -7 with D'Angelo Russell and Flagg on, D'Angelo Russell off, -20. Like
plus minus isn't a friendly stat for Cooper right now.
No, it's not. But you see, when you play him with a point guard, at least it is understandable at that point. It's understandably bad. The Mavs offense right now is not understandably bad.
Well, this is one of the decisions that I was thinking for Kidd that what is in his power and what do I think he needs to try to like figure out when it comes to like some lineup combinations outside of the point guard stuff. And for me, I think when you're looking at the most important players on the team, yes, AD's hurt. You can't do anything about that right now. Sure. Kyrie's hurt. You can't do anything about that right now. And of course, Lively. The two most important players on your roster right now are Cooper Flagg and PJ Washington. And whether it's right now or whether it's moving forward in the future with a Dereck Lively as the big man and like all this stuff, like you're going to want to play the combination of PJ and Cooper together. Today's basketball and everything, like those two guys got to work. Like they got to fit. Like, and that would be an awesome combination, especially how PJ's playing and where we think Cooper's going. Right now, shocking, is not working. Them two on the floor together, 148 minutes together, -18. And you look at the ratings on that. Yeah, a -18 plus minus in that net rating, 95 offensive rating, 113 defensive rating. So yes, I could go down the line of like Cooper with this guy, this one's tough, this one's tough. If there's one that I'm looking at as a coaching staff and saying, hey, we got to make, who are we playing? Who are the other three guys that we're playing around these guys? If I'm looking at some of the combinations of saying, all right, D'Lo, Naji, and Max are +17 as a 3-man combo, or D'Lo, Max Christie, and PJ together as a 3-man combo, or a positive plus minus. I'm just really trying to examine who are the three guys that we're playing with PJ and Cooper, because those two guys we got to make work on the floor together. I'm fascinated to see who they try to play with those guys.
This goes back to the frustration we were talking about on the show yesterday. It doesn't seem like they're trying to develop Flagg or trying to win now. It's like you're not doing either. You do win now if you like play to point guard. We're like, all right, we're going to focus on this. We're going to focus on the bigs. It just doesn't seem like they're doing either thing. And it's just, I'm very frustrated.
That's, I've had a couple of people like, when I tweeted out there the other day about the Giannis stuff. And I was like, hey, one of the points of the differences between what Kidd was doing with Giannis in Milwaukee compared to what he's doing with Cooper now was, hey, that Bucks team wasn't a win now team. Like they weren't operating like that. This Dallas team, I said they're operating like a win now team. And I tweeted that out, and now there's all these people tweeting at me saying like, hey, win now, let's bet on this. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to say that they are operating, and they have said, the Mavs and their pocketbooks are showing that they are a win now team. And, I put the combination of like, when you are paying Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson, three guys to be in your rotation, to be starters, $107 million combined dollars this season, then you are a win now team. Whether it's resulting in wins or not, you're operating and built to be a win now team. So I think there's a difference between saying like, hey, I think this team is going to win a lot, and whether, hey, this organization's operating like a win now organization, which I think they are.
I think we spent a lot of the offseason not saying, hey, the Mavs are geniuses for doing all these things. We're saying, well, this is what the Mavs are doing, and it doesn't seem like it's matching some of the things that they're saying about being win now. They didn't go out and get an offensive creator. They decided to change the offense, which I think was good, but then you didn't have anybody to run it or have anybody step up like that. And
imagine if they didn't get Cooper Flagg. They didn't win the lottery.
Oh, we would be, I mean,
they didn't give up anything to get Cooper. So there's a real world in which they land at 11 in the draft. They have another rookie that's playing right now, and there's still all the same injuries that's happening, but you don't have the hope and like joy of, oh, we got Cooper to, that's.
Well, who would it have been? Like,
I mean, there's different. Yeah, I mean, we were looking at guards and stuff. Then Fears ended up going a little higher.
Fears was one we looked at. They could have maybe got like Cedric Coward, or Igor Demin. We talked about Demin a lot.
Well, Demin went really high to Brooklyn. But yeah, I think Coward could have been there, but Coward isn't selling. We're not selling. Well, not selling Cedric Coward jerseys a ton right now.
I've seen flag jerseys. I've seen lots of flag jerseys.
I know flag jerseys, yeah, but I'm saying if it was Cedric Coward, I don't think that the hanger is like flying off the shelves with Cedric Coward jerseys right now. If they're 2 and 5.
You think the Coward jerseys is not a good one? Like to wear Coward on the back?
I love Cedric Coward. I think he's great.
Oh, he's been really good. I just listened to Locked On Grizzlies, and they were raving about him, how good he's been for him.
He's good.
But that jersey just doesn't hit as well as the Zero Fears one.
I think some people might be buying it for somebody else if they were buying it to give it to a certain.
Coming up, Jason Kidd is making decisions, it seems like, based on one thing and not the other. And I need him to change on that. We'll talk about that. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business with the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is an all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you all from one place, whether without the hassle or the hidden fees. Right now, you can get an exclusive offer from us. You can go to gusto.com/LockedOnNBA, Gusto, gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. You get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months free of free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. One more time, that's gusto.com/LockedOnNBA to go get it. You can use it if you're a small business for basic payroll needs, or you can do the evolving teams one. That's the second level for teams needing an advanced payroll, HR, and time tracking, which is interesting. You also do the scaling business. That's the premium one for scaling businesses needs of comprehensive payroll, benefits, HR solution, dedicated support, all that stuff. You can go check it out again at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All these changes, and I still got my dog Dwight Powell.
All the changes. So many changes. All right, Isaac, we're talking about changes Jason Kidd needs to make for this Mavericks team right now. We focus a lot on offense because that's the side of the ball that has just struggled. Like going into the season, I was worried about offense. You were worried about offense. We talked about offense a lot in the offseason. But I thought I thought they'd be 24th, 25th, and I'd be like, man, this is where the Mavs, they'll get there. They'll get to where the Magic have been the last couple of years. Magic have been hanging around 21, 20th. And they'll be like, all right, well, but their defense is good enough, and they're winning games, but their offense is just bad. This is worse than I even had thought. And to me, I think Jason Kidd is making the decisions with this team right now. You said something earlier that made me think about this. You said the eye test is saying one thing, the numbers are saying the same thing. It seems like between the eye test and the numbers, decisions are not being made that make sense. And so he's coaching on instinct. His instinct says, all right, with this Princeton offense, we've got to run it. We'll run it with no point guards, and then eventually this team will get it together, and it will run better later on in the season than it's going right now. And it's just not getting run at all right now. And it's just very frustrating. He needs to go off of, all right, what does the eye test say? What do the numbers say is working? And go off of that. Because they just need to get it to work right now instead of all right, let's try and optimize this so that it can be elite later on in the season. You don't have that luxury right now. It's got to be better right now.
Yeah, and I mean one of the biggest things about this offense is you got to run it through the big man. And when you start talking about this offense and Triano's offense stuff, him coming from Sacramento, a lot of people are like, "Oh, okay, there's 80's the new Sabonis. They're gonna run a lot of DHOs and all the different stuff with the offense." Well, 80's been hurt, so it's like you were already kind of looking rusty in this offense, but it's like you kind of like one of the big decisions of going to this offense was because it hinges so much on running a lot of things through that big man. And you got that big man in AD that when he's healthy, he can do all the things that you want in that big man spot in that type of offense. But now he's out. So it's like, you can't even like refine the things of, all right, it'd be like that. That's one of the things. It's like, it'd be different if like you still had all the pieces and then you're like, all right, well, we're getting more comfortable, but that can't even happen because now it's like, all right,
Is
Lively. I don't even know what's going on with Lively now. Like, there's not even a timetable.
Lively's just out. They're going to both be reevaluated now that they're back home they're home for this game. The Lively and AD are not going to play in this game against the Pelicans, but they're going to get reevaluated this week at some point since they're back home. So we'll see. Well, I mean, we could find out. All right, we can find out. We can find out anything, and I'm not going to believe anything they say. I'm not going to lie. Like they're going to say Lively, he'll be out for 3 weeks. All right, I'm going to expect 5.
Until Shams says something, or McMahon, or Stein.
I guess. Has Shams been right about the stuff? It's like he's only hearing the stuff that the team tells him.
I know, but there was a difference between when AD and Kid were both like, "Hey, it's day to day," and then we get a PR release hours later, the same day. It's like he's gonna be out the next 2 days and reevaluated when we get back to Dallas. I'm like, that's not day to day. Like what? So
that's 2 days from today.
Yeah, that's where it's like a little tough with it. But they played. You want to take a guess how many minutes AD and Lively played together this season?
This season,
yeah,
it wasn't a lot because we were trying to figure out. Is it 20 minutes?
Close, 29.
Man, 29.
When do you think we see that number increase? Where both of them are on the floor together at the same time.
I'm gonna make both.
Because like it's a super small sample size, but it's like they've played 29 minutes together, and it's a positive plus net, positive net rating. It's a decent defensive rating. From what I remember, I didn't write it down, but it's just 29 minutes. That's kind of hard to.
Yeah, that's nothing. Like that can happen in the game. That can happen in the game.
It is kind of funny to look at 5-man lineup combinations and like those numbers for Dallas because they've had so many different combinations that. The highest, like, yeah, it's just insane.
And how many years in a row are we going to do that too? Where it's like the Mavs. Remember we did that whole thing with lineups last year, where it's like the Mavs' most used lineup was, was not even anywhere close to the 5th most used Knicks lineup or whatever because they had played the most guys. We're just going to do this every single year, and so there are reasons the Mavericks offense has been this bad. But I think that going back to your thing about AD and using him in this offense, they talked about how they were going to use him as the hub. But as soon as the hub was out, it couldn't have fallen apart because it wasn't together in the first place. But it's like they didn't have a second thing to go to. I'm like, that seems like a problem.
Well, it's just all of the fallbacks that you could have for, let's just say, like health, and it's like. This is why I don't buy has injuries hurt 100%, like for sure. But like, this is why you can't hang your hat on all of it being injuries because it's not like before injuries happen, you were just, the Suns offense from back in the day. Like It's not like you were just rolling one of the best offenses in the league and then injuries hit. Dang, we couldn't even like see it very much. No, you were struggling. It's not like you can look at it and say, well, you know what? The star that we traded Luka for, he's in like peak version. Even if the offense was kind of rusty, we know that he can put up like 40, 45 and carry us one night, whatever. He was putting up some counting stats, but he hasn't looked the same since then. So, and it's not like you have all the pieces to run the system to where, all right, you know what? The offense hasn't worked too much, but it's just going to take time. We know we have the right pieces. No, you got to have shooters for this system to work. And we could go down, pick your stat, like spin the wheel and pick your stat on catch and shoot shots. Like, I'll give you another one right here. Unguarded catch and shoot shots for Dallas this year. 84 attempts, 29%. on unguarded catch and shoot shots. So you don't even have the shooters for you to be like, oh, this offense is going to take time. We have the pieces. So it's like you don't have the pieces. You don't like the star player isn't looking like a star player right now. And like there's just so much stuff as the caveat behind well, it's just injuries. It's not just injuries. So yeah. But you gotta have health to figure everything out too. So that's
It's like that saying, like you can only deal with the cards you're dealt. Okay, well they were dealt cards, and we could kind of foresee this happening with some of these guys being out, and the cards were still like they put them down, and some of them were face down. It's like they didn't even play. They didn't even play some of the right cards. One of them's an Uno card. Like it's frustrating. My last thing. Can I do one more thing?
of course. Ding.
Stop yanking Klay around. He's a bench player right now. That's how he's playing, right? Like he's playing.
Can I counter you on this though? If like I just don't think
in a second.
Okay.
He's playing starter minutes, he's playing with the starters, and he's playing like 3.5 minutes in fourth quarters, and he's just not really even playing. Like why even start him? He's doing like the Dwight Powell Memorial starting spot from the 2022 run. Like it's just, and you're starting off really slow, and I just think it's doing a disservice to everybody involved. And then Klay's frustrated that he's not playing at the end of games. You see where he smacked the water bottle off the Mavs lost the other day. I don't know what he exactly was frustrated about. Could have been anything, but I mean, he didn't play very much at all late in that game, and so you're frustrated. He will not be a closing player for the Mavericks right now, and so you gotta like give him that reality.
Yeah. So I guess my whole thing. I want to say this first. Max is better than him right now. Max deserves the start more than him right now. That's just on both ends of the floor. Max is a better player than him right now. I say that, but I also don't think it matters that much. Max is playing 30 minutes a game. Klay's playing 20 minutes a game. Max has been closing games. Klay hasn't been closing games. Like it would be different for me if that was switched and Klay was playing 30 minutes a game and Max is at 20 and they're forcing Klay to finish these games and Max is sitting on the bench and all, like they're at least adjusting some of that. And he's like, you're seeing that. It's just that starting unit. I can't I hear you with that, the starting unit, but
to me, it's more about Klay and Klay knowing what his role is. Cause right now he's a starter and then he's just not playing in fourth quarters at all. And that's why I said that's my thing was stop yanking Klay around, because it's like, all right, is he a starter? Is he like a main rotation player, or is he just like a starter like Dwight Powell was in 2022 when they would start him, play him like 4 minutes and bring in Maxey? You know what I mean?
But you think Klay knows that though? Like, I mean, he's at 20 minutes a game right now. This is by far the lowest amount of minutes per game that he's ever played in his career. I mean, last year was at 27 minutes here in Dallas. So if it stays at 20, that's a huge drop off for him. So I just feel like
are they only starting him because that's the only time they can actually play him minutes?
I was gonna say, I think either you just don't play him at all or like how much lower than 20 minutes are you gonna go? 12?
Well, the answer is that Russell should start over him, and then I think he could still come off the bench.
I know, I agree. Yeah, he could do that. I'm with you that I think Max should start over him. I just don't think
the problem is Max is starting with him.
Now, because of the injuries. Yeah. I just don't think it's that big of a deal because his role is already reducing. We're 7 games in and it's already going down.
But I'm from his perspective, wouldn't it be weird? Like he's playing the lowest minutes of his career and he's still a starter. Like
it's probably the only thing he's hanging his hat on right now.
Yeah, bro,
as a pro.
I think he can hang his hat on a lot, like personally.
I mean, this has been a theme for you in the show. So
yeah, he seems like he's doing all right in life.
He is. I am worried. I am curious to see what the next few months looks like for Klay in Dallas. If they stay committed to this system, it just seems like that's a prime contract that they would use to offload. Yeah. But then again, it's like, what's the value of that contract right now around the league? Do you have to attach something to it? I still feel like there's teams around the league and some players and stuff you can match with salary to where teams would love to have some Klay shooting and stuff right now if they have more of a
What do you think Klay is shooting on catch and shoot threes right now? Percentage. He's taking 5.1 a game.
catch and shoot shots. I think it's better than what he's, I don't know, 35.
22%.
Dang.
Yeah.
Because it's always the 1 foot off the ones that I'm like,
yes. Frustrating. Lots of frustrating things for the Mavs offense. Check back in this feed. Isaac will have one more thing a little bit later today, talking more about the offense. We'll have a post-game show for you all throughout every single post-game this season. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.